Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm taking a look at the Bandai Star Wars Clone Trooper model kit. Now before I get into all this, I'm gonna throw out this word of warning. I'm working through a kidney stone right now, so there's a little bit of pain. There's a little bit of medication. I may be a little shaky, and I may ramble on a little bit more than I usually do. But the model kit, it comes in the standard box, pretty shiny black with pictures all over it. And since we're getting the Phase 1 Trooper and the Phase 2 Trooper, they kind of mix and match the picture on the front of the box. Nice artwork. On the side, you get a picture of the models all put together, parts and pieces. Just the picture again, a bigger picture of the Trooper, some stuff I can't read. This probably says, "Do not build while medicated." The picture again. The back is just straight black for some reason. That amuses me to no end. Now, inside the box, we get the usual sprues. Here's the blacks and the whites, the regular stickers, some more armor bits. You can see the two helmets here. Point pieces, this is a rubbery material, and then the base, and then the water slide decals. And they've actually labeled it in English this time. When I first started the Star Wars kits, I wasn't really, I'd never built a model kit before, so when I got the two sheets of stickers, I didn't know what the difference was. Now it actually says water slide, and this one says sticker, so that's cool. Yeah. Not quite sure what that is. And then the instructions. Looks pretty straightforward, or at least I'm hoping it's straightforward because, I mean, I've done quite a few of the original trilogy Stormtroopers, so this shouldn't be a big deal. And it doesn't look like there's a lot of stickers. There's the mouthpiece, and then some various blacks. Not bad at all. So like usual, I'm not going to film the whole build. If I hit some snags, I'll film that, or some cool pieces that'll go on here. But I'll get it all together and then do a review of the figure itself. They also seem to have changed the instructions. Not a lot, but the layout's kind of different. And it still goes, by parts. But at the end of each section, there's a check. A check. A check. It's not a big deal. It just sticks out at me. Okay, step one is to build the Phase 1 helmet. Everything went together really well. In fact, a lot of it popped together really nice. There was a snap, it went in. It looks almost seamless. This fin on top is a separate piece, but it looks just integrated into the helmet. The only snag I hit was the visor here. The instructions show to put the clear, smoky black plastic piece for the lens in first, and then take the white cover that goes around it on it. Everything in there is kind of a tight fit. So what I ended up doing was taking the lens back out and popping the lens into the front piece, putting it on, and then snapping it. I had to push really hard for it to get in there, but the helmet altogether looks pretty good. Again, the neck piece is one solid piece this time around. I think it was like that on the First Order Trooper, but I can't remember. I know there's been one since then, but the ones before that were two pieces that you snapped around this centerpiece. Also different on this one is you install the neck piece before you put the chest together. You put it in here, and there's no chance of it popping out. I guess because for this one, switching the heads is intentional, so I guess they wanted the neck piece to be solid. There's still a little bit of movement there, but it's not going to pull out when you pull the head off. With these over-the-shoulder straps, you gotta make sure that you have it the right way. I spent about 5 minutes a minute ago trying to put that one on upside down. But once you get it on there, you'll know it because it actually lines up. And then there's an actual snap to it going down in there. I like that. It makes it feel more secure. The instructions, I said they were a little bit different. They're also a little bit easier to follow. And that's not saying that older instructions are impossible to follow. I mean, you just look at the pictures, you go. But it almost seems like the pictures here are a little bit more concise, a little bit more informative. Okay, for the shoes, they have this weird strap that goes up and over the top of it, but the pins go into the back right here. In the picture, it shows it like this, with the long side to the right. But when you put it on, and I'm working on the left foot right now, but when you put it on, you flip it around and come up under, and then hook it into here, and then kind of pop it over the top right here. Now, when you go to put the sole on, see how that pin right there goes almost to that peg? The gray part has some plastic that needs to go in between the pin of the strap and the pin inside the foot. So you have to pull out just a little bit on this to get it to fit in there, and then it snaps in. Another thing I noticed with these feet, they've taken this peg that goes up into the leg and it's thicker and it's longer than it used to be. I've never done it personally, but I've heard of people snapping this whenever they're trying to put it up into the shin. This one, it's nice and thick, no problem. And there's a snap whenever you put it in there. Okay, got to the arms. It does this strap thing around the elbow again like it did down on the knee. Nice little detail, but I'm thinking it's going to hinder articulation a little bit just because it closes up in between the two armor pieces. But up here, I like to wait to do the shoulder pads last because you're shoving that on, and if you put the shoulder pad on first, like the instructions say, you're pushing on that pad. And I always worry about those little pins in there, so putting it on last, it's a little less nerve-wracking that way. Okay, putting together the Phase 2 helmet. Everything else is pretty straightforward. The whole body, we're used to it, you know, from the other troopers we've built. But the helmets are really intricate. You have these gray pieces, the black pieces. This is all separate. Now, you get to the macro binoculars, and these are a separate piece. And you plug them in to the ears. Now, they don't just snap over these pieces. You have to remove the ear cap things in order to put the macro binoculars on. Once you get these on, it seems like it's going to be kind of a pain in the ass to get these back off every time if you want to use these. At least for me, anyway, with it being that much trouble, if I were to display one with the macro binoculars, I'd probably keep it on there all the time because no, pulling these back off, no. But for the most part, it's not like C-3PO where you'd want to glue them on. Once you get these on, they seem to snap on pretty good. Like they're not going to fall off. And there we go, all built. And I really hate to say this about a model kit. I love the model kits. I've never had much of a problem with any of them. Maybe Vader's cape, maybe Phasma's cape. Little things here and there. But with this one, I think in order to get it completely accurate, Bandai kind of cut into the articulation. I'd almost compare this with the First Order Stormtrooper model kit. It's a little bit hindered. It looks fantastic, but like I always say, being a model kit, every little piece is separate. The sculpt is beautiful. All the little details, the edges are sharp. The separations, like on the belt, just each pouch is a different piece. It looks great. Now going over the articulation, because of how they mounted the neck down into the body where it wouldn't pull out whenever you change the heads, it kind of hindered that point right there. You only get like that much at the bottom, no side to side, but you do get side to side in the head. You can look up about this far, you can look down about that far. Now, if you pull this off to switch out to the Phase 2 head, you will notice that the sockets in the bottom are different between the two helmets. The Phase 2 helmet, it has what we usually see. It's just that kind of square, goes on the ball, kind of moves around. For some reason, the Phase 1 helmet just has a hole. I don't know if it's because of how they had to put the pieces together or what's going on there. But if you put the Phase 2 helmet on, you do get a little bit more range of movement, only because of how the helmet's set up. The shoulders are on a ball that's inside a butterfly joint, so you can shift forward, shift back. It goes out about that far because of the shoulder pad, and then it swivels all the way around. The shoulder pad itself's on a hinge. You can hinge it up, get it out of the way, get the arm up even further. There's a swivel at the bicep. And here's one of the problems we run into here. Double elbow, but because of this band going around the front, and because of how the joint is cut, you just don't get the range that you do with the usual kits. It's about 90 degrees. It does have the shift out, like we've seen. You can shift out to there, but it doesn't give you really a lot more. It's about right there. The wrist is a slight ball going into the forearm, so you get a little bit of movement. Then you get a swivel there. You have a ball at the top of the abs under the chest piece, and then you have a ball down at the bottom going into the waist. To allow for movement down there, they've had to gap it, and if you leave it in a certain position, you can see the gap going straight through. The belt doesn't really hide it, but if you shift forward a little bit and then arc back, it looks pretty good. It closes the gap. The hips are on a peg that goes into a hinge and a swivel. You can get up about this far before shifting the hips down. Then you can get out about that far. Again, hindered because of the armor design. If you swing out, you can get a little bit more. Go back, you can go out. There's a swivel at the thigh. Double knee, but that band gets in the way again right there. Hinge and swivel at the ankle. You can go back that far. You can go forward about that far, and it swivels. And then you have forward-facing peg for rocker. Now for accessories, I've already shown the two heads. The Phase 1 head looks pretty good. It's a lot cleaner. than what we'll see here in a minute when I compare it to the Black Series or the SH Figuarts figure. And then the Phase 2 helmet, I think this is my man right here. This is going to be what's on here most of the time. For other accessories, he comes with 2 fists. These are a little bit cleaner than what we've been seeing with the model kits. They were getting kind of lumpy there for a while. These, a little bit more detailed. You can see the individual fingers. There's not a big flat spot on them. Then he comes with 2 at-rest hands, or resting his gun inside of it, open hands. And then he comes with 2 weapon-holding hands, left and right. Now, what I usually do is leave these hands on the guns. Then he comes with a long rifle. It looks pretty good. Again, being a model kit, it needs to be weathered a little bit. It's just straight black. Then he comes with the standard Clone Trooper blaster. It's smaller, again, good detail, needs some weathering. The macro binoculars, they do look good, but they're a pain to put on. Getting those ear caps off to put the macro binoculars on, too much trouble. If you have 6 of these and you want one with the binoculars on, I say go for it. And I may end up doing that too. Here's the Phase 1 head on the model kit compared to Hasbro's Black Series Phase 1 Trooper. As you can see, they are pretty close in size. And really, you get a little bit more articulation with the Black Series. Comparing the Phase 2 helmet with the Phase 2 helmet from Hasbro, you can see that the model kit, again, sharper, cleaner. They kind of missed on the paint on the Hasbro one, but they still look good together. You can mix and match. The model kit is a little bit thicker in the chest, but they go right side by side. And then going back and comparing the Phase 1 to the SH Figuarts Phase 1. Big size difference here. So at the end of the day, it's a hard decision. I like the model kit, but it does have its drawbacks, articulation-wise. With the model kits, half the fun is building. I love building these things. Seeing it all come together, it's just fun, and you get a little insight into the inner workings of an action figure. Yeah, the articulation is a little different than your standard action figure, but you still get, you know, an idea of the movement, how it all works. Getting it all together, it looks great. And the water slides were easy to apply, and there wasn't a lot of them. As far as the Phase 1 Trooper goes, Hasbro did a pretty good job with theirs. So if I were to get more model kits, and I do have another one to build, I already have my second one here. If I were to build more, they would probably be all Phase 2 Troopers. Because of the lack of a lot of decals, if they came with another sheet that had the squad colors, or commander colors, I wouldn't put it past them to release this kit again later with, instead of the macro binoculars, have like the captain visor or different add-ons for the different pieces. Just different ranks, pretty much same body with maybe some extra pieces of the shoulder pad, and then definitely new heads. For Phase 2 Trooper, I love this thing. For Phase 1 Trooper, it's a toss-up. You get yourself some Black Series Troopers if you're in dire need to army build. And again, I hate saying that about a model kit. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the whoosh. And the thing I'm liking about this figure compared to other figures so far is that this looks good both with the hood and the scarf thing on or off. It's a toss-up to how you're going to want to display this. Getting the figure itself, it's kind of the same thing that's going on with all the Kylo Rens so far. Yes, this is rubbery. I mean, really rubbery. This is the rubberiest material I've seen in a while.